sucks for Geneva's Wizards. They've done better. They're 3-1 going into this game, but the way the coefficient works is their other teams, their victories haven't really counted for enough. They beat Rebel 11-8, Flying Rabbits on Universe 10-9, and win over another WUCC side before losing 15-10 to Leftovers, and absolutely thrashing Steamhug 15-3. But thrashing bad teams is what you're expected to do under the Swiss draw format, and not doing that really lowers your coefficient.
An inefficient coefficient will not get you further in this tournament as Wizards working their way down that open side.
Is Yannick Gallant. Oh, that reset space is really messy. All right, is able to get the reset off to Biance. Goes down the sideline, thinking about the deep. He's going to try and shoot a backhand. Oh, there's a... I thought it was going to go too far, but it actually sat really nicely for Thomas Nicolas. And the Frenchman, Julie, reels it in for Wizards' first point of the game. Finally on the board, but still a couple of breaks down. 2-1 to Iron Horse at the moment.
Took a lot of confidence to put that throw up. Threw it through a corridor, as we're going to have another look. He just reads the defense, sees the gap appear, and sends it to Nicola. Chases it down for the catch. Nice, confident throwing. It was miscues and not D's that gave them all those turnovers in the first 2 points. So hopefully Wizards will be able to correct their missteps. Be a bit more competitive. That is a fantastic throw.
Yeah, really pivoting around and using that open space in the middle of the field with no defenders there. As a force, you want to do a better job of not letting that go, I'd say.
So the 23rd and the 24th seeds battling it out in the last round of Swiss draw. You would imagine this to be quite a close game.
Yeah, like we said, the algorithm predicts Universe win for Iron Horse so far, based on previous results. And both these sides aren't going to make the bracket, let's be honest at this point. They're too far off, but obviously you want to do as well as you can. Fight your way up the standings. Disc is going to go deep. It's going to fade out of this sideline, and Martin Cibula's never going to get a chance at it.
That was our first look at this O-line for Iron Horse.
And it was not overly impressive.
No, they kind of tripped up on their way to a canter.
So Wizards will win the disc in. Friend of the booth, Sarah Harrison, sappers the dump.
Known affectionately as the Northern Downpour for her ability to throw that disc. As she burns deep.
Oh, the throw's going to go up. There's a couple of receivers there. Harrison's in the area. Oh, defender Stankovic has to go up early, but he can't reel it in. And Calvin Schenk's going to get the grab, and that's going to be a break for Wizards. So they've earned one of them back still.
Starting on offense and a level score. They want to make sure they get another break before half. But this is just great play. Stankovic had to go up and try and get something on it, but he couldn't in the end. Calvin Schenk able to bring down the score. So a nice response from Wizards. A hold and then a break to tie the game back up. And this is what we wanted to see. Not letting themselves get blown away.
Yeah, both sides kind of feeling each other out a bit early doors, working out exactly, feeling themselves out a bit actually, it has to be said, working out exactly how good they are and what throws are on and what throws aren't. There's a wind just beginning to blow a little bit now. Thankfully nowhere near what it was yesterday or the previous night.
It seemed rather vicious yesterday, much calmer now.
It was pretty dicey. I was really afraid at one point that our tents were going to implode. It's not necessarily what you want when you're camping.
It's not ideal, shall we say.
Yeah, less than ideal. Vladek is going to shoot deep. Oh, that throw's just got way too much steam on it. Raced away on the shot for Alina Mala.
So now Wizards with the opportunity to strike back. And I like this tactical decision by them to move Ravi Vasudevan to the front stack position. Try and remove him from play as much as possible. Limit the damage he can do.
That throw's going to pop up. It's going to be almost reeled in on the overthrow. Lucy Potcher actually managed to get there, but Couldn't bring it in, and Iron Horse just give it back straight away, looking
Doesn't
deep.
seem to be a lot of respect for possession in this game. People happy to take risky shots, which I like. You know, open yourself up. You might as well use this for as much of a learning opportunity as it is. We saw Iron Horse make their, I believe, debut last year at the EUCF, and I'm sure it's a tournament they'd love to return to.
Iron Horse weren't Iron Horse, though, were they last year?
They were Osla, which is basically just Iron Horse, but in Czech.
Master David's going to dish the disc off.
Hopefully remove himself from the play.
Here's Riviere. Shane Debo, that's a nice grab under pressure from Alban Bordeaux. It's Master David, right at the doorstep of the end zone, thinks about jamming in the jam hole. So just takes the dish off. Bordeaux's going to go for it. Oh, just a touch too far. Required a flying layout bid from Ben Tannenwald.
Tannenwald unable to wrap his fingers around that one. Perhaps a touch too much.
Yeah, just that throw smothered in Sriracha, and actually just a nice cool flick would have been exactly what was needed.
A mistake I frequently make with burritos. Just too much sauce. But again, Iron Horse, a casual throwaway.
Yeah, neither side really seem to have found their groove so far this game. Maybe just the live streaming pressure that's getting to them, perhaps. It seems silly, but you are acutely aware of having these cameras on you, and it can affect the quality of your play. Oh, that's a risky one. It's going to go over the first line of defense and going to be mopped up at the back by the tall figure of Alain Bordeaux. And so, after giving up 2 breaks to start this game, Withers have now scored 3 on the bounce, and they've retaken, or taken for the first time, the lead, where they've brought us back on serve at 3-2. Going to see it again here on the replay. Gets that nice open underneath, and this throw, I must admit, probably not the wisest decision. That
dubious
defender comes peeling off, but he can't quite get there, and Alban Bordeaux's there to sweep up the trash, and that is going to give them a Wizards a 3-2 lead. And it's going to make Iron Horse call a timeout here.
After starting the game with 2 breaks, to then squander that lead immediately, it is cause for concern and cause to just bring your team together, collect yourselves.
Yeah, it must be a little bit demoralising. So I think I want to talk about Iron Horse, and this is because, as people know, have watched my streams and know me, I love things like jersey numbers and sartorial choices. I don't think I've ever seen a team that has such low jersey numbers in the same way that Iron Horse does. There's, I think, about 15 members of the team, and the highest their shirt number goes is 19.
Oh, that's pretty nice.
How unusual is that? It's pretty classic. It's, oh, they've got the Football World Cup going on at the moment. Not that you'd be watching that over this, but
no, of course. Who gives a crap about the old Football World Cup? Like,
I don't know if you know, but it's coming home, so I care.
Oh, really? It's coming here to the Netherlands?
No, home. The Netherlands.
Ireland? We're not in the tournament.
No,
why would football come home?
Where I live.
Up your own. Oh, London.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now. I get it. Have your media not done a good job of dismantling all hope and positivity within your club?
Well, they've tried, especially with Raheem Sterling, because I don't know if you know, but he got a tattoo.
Oh, wow. Well, you can't be doing that. I mean, that's only something that most people have.
No, and it was a tattoo of a gun as well, so it was like, oh, he must be a bad guy.
Oh, well, I mean, in fairness, you're going to get a gun tattooed on him.
But it's tattooed on his leg, where you wouldn't be able to see most of the time anyway, because he's wearing football socks. So literally,
I think that's some ire that's well earned.
No, I think everyone.
Well, you forget he also commits the original sin of being English.
Yeah, and also, apparently once he had breakfast after an awards ceremony, that's unforgivable.
No, you can't have breakfast after an awards ceremony.
No. God, the English media was so much.
Now you know what it's like to experience spending time with the English in general. So now,
in general, not specifically me though.
No, you're an absolute pleasure, Benji. As I'm sure our listeners are well aware, your sultry tones guiding us through this scintillating matchup.
Thanks, Logan. Your checks in the post. So Iron Horse going to get the runs back to work. Oh, tight window throw there. Just about to squeeze it through. Just goes to this near sideline. Has to jump to make that catch, but it's well caught by Branislav Jasko. This swung to the centre for Jurasek. Jurasek now. Everyone pushing upfield, getting quite congested in the middle. And here's Jurashek again. Here's Jasko.
And you can see just this confident resetting from Iron Horse, swinging it back and forth like a typewriter, slowly pushing their way down the pitch as Wizards react, calling for that match defense.
Oh, there's the shot from Iron Horse, and it's gonna. Oh, he's gonna make the grab, but I don't think he's gonna be in bounds necessarily.
I can argue over who caught the disc first. Well, that remains largely irrelevant, as it certainly seemed like the Iron Horse player landed out of bounds.
It was certainly very tight.
Bit of conversation. I do think they are disputing the wrong point. It was nice recognition by Iron Horse once they saw the match defense transition to try and get an immediate leading pass. As we wait. Iron Horse very much a team on the rise, trying to establish themselves internationally in terms of Europe. Wizards, a team on their way to Cincinnati.
Yeah, one of two Swiss mixed teams representing out there, along with, oh my god, I've drawn a blank. Panthers Bern?
The Swiss sending a lot of teams over to WUCC.
Yeah, we saw Fabulous in the last game, will also be representing their country out there. Turnover's going to stand. Another break chance. Oh, that's a dangerous throw, and the defender does a good job of getting into that space. Martin Cibula.
Able to recover and avoid the Wizards going on a 4-point run. So now Iron Horse get the quick score thanks to the fantastic heads-up D by Cibula, and tie it up at 3s.
So back on serve at the moment.
But Wizards, they did what they needed to do. They corrected the mistakes. Starting to look good. Now let's see if they can get an offensive hold.
Obviously, this is the last round of Swiss draw we have before we go into black bracket play. And just confirming for you now exactly what quarterfinals are going to be in the Open and Women's Division. Can hold off for a split second till we get those 100% confirmed. But they're, I'll say what we've got. So I won't tell you what they are just yet, but I will tell you they're looking pretty tasty.
I would expect no less of Windmill. We've already had some fantastic games on the live stream, all of which you can watch on YouTube. You can watch everything that's already been streamed as well, all of it for free, all weekend long. Who else gives you this kind of coverage, this kind of entertainment?
Love Windmill, love it to pieces. Shenball catching a nice under there. Throws a little bit high, but well in by Patrick Neff. Here's Udici. Working it down this forced sideline nicely, thinking about the shot to the end zone. Playing comes break side for the hammer, doesn't need it. Not quite in the end zone just yet. Gallant on the doorstep. He's going to take the swing back up to the centre. Nice smart offense, going for the dump swing. Can't force it in though. Looking to pivot around, trying to squeeze it in. He's going to jam it in the jam hole, squeezing down that far side for Neff.
That is textbook dump swinging all the way across. 5 players touching the disc within 5 meters of the opponent's end zone. Brilliant stuff. Great use of latitude. And what I loved about the Wizards offense there was it was confident, but it was also inclusive. Every player touched the disc, and that just shows the work they're putting in. They know that depth is the key to success at a World Championship tournament.
Yeah, you're right about the textbook dump swing as well, because that first catch was just outside the end zone, literally on that front cone pretty much. And they took it right to the front cone on the other side before putting it in. And that is exactly how you drop a dump swing, and that's why you create these nice tight stacks in the end zones. You can create that break side space to hit.
Excellent execution from Wizards. And that was the major concern coming into this match. And certainly after watching the first 2 points, will they be able to execute under pressure?
Yeah, speaking to Ravi yesterday, he said that they were a bit disappointed with some of their results. Even though they'd won games, they gave teams more sniffs and gave them more points than they perhaps deserved to. And obviously that's just going to send down your Swiss draw coefficients, so they were pretty disappointed with those, even though they did get the wins.
So 4-3 to Wizards. And here come Iron Horse.
Swing is going to be low, it can't be saved, and this is great field position now for Wizards. Loud shouts of end zone coming from the sideline. The American Jake Simon's going to pick up. Oh, he's going to swing. Not quite in the end zone just yet. Estelle Riviere has it on the precipice, going to take the dump off to Calvin Schenk. He's got Simon. Isolated Zarisa is going to take him with that lefty flick. And again, patient, and the force comes too far round, and that opens up the backhand space for Alban Bordeaux.
Beautiful, swinging, comfortable play by the Wizards in front of the end zone. Short field turn, and they're able to cash it in. And they cash it in comfortably, trusting their dumps to get free. Lots of movement. You can see Sarah Harrison comes down, clears out the space, allows for that shot through to the middle. Very nicely done by Tannenwald in the middle of the pitch, right on the end zone line. Gets it to Bordeaux with the dishy little backhand, but it was because they had those other options. Right by the likes of Harrison, coming to the break side, allowing them to move the force over and take the easier shot. You can see the cut to the break side, moves the defense, and Bordeaux simply has to stand there for the dishy backhand. Wizards doing a great job of creating space for each other. There's now Ravi Vasudevan, disc in hand, ready to pull down to Iron Horse.
He's got a lot of gear, doesn't he, Ravi?
He's got a lot of everything you don't need to succeed.
I mean, I think he probably does need the goggles.
I think he's putting it on.
He's just pretending to have really bad eyesight.
Yeah, that's been a long-standing theory of mine, is here come Iron Horse, sending it deep to the ludicrously free Jan Rosina. That has to be a miscommunication, or maybe just an instance of apathy, as that was far too easy.
Completely blew that coverage there, did the Wizards. Just lost him somewhere, but tried to cloak of invisibility and just couldn't find him.
It was a switch that never came, as Jan tears down the pitch. Nobody picks him up and collects the score.
It's a nice confidence booster for Iron Horse. Obviously, it's a relatively easy point, but we see teams in the past when they see receivers get that open, just rush the throw and get it off target. But it was nicely done, leading him right into space and into the end zone. Able to chop his feet a little bit, slow down before killing the sideline. Not a problem there. So nice back on the board for Iron Horse, reducing the deficit still. One behind at 5-4 to Wizards, so we're going to come out on offense now.
Oh! So what didn't Hladik do in that point? Gets the big recovery D, fantastic grab to save possession, and then just launches a hammer for the score.
What a man.
Consummate performance.
Man after my own heart. I love seeing that expansive style of play and no fear in that shot to Jan Spark. See it there, right on the spot. Defender tries to get underneath and get a hand in there, but it's just going to go over his hand. And Iron Horse now tie things back up at 5s. Already there's a lot of back and forth in this game. I like it, Lorcan.
After what seemed like it might be a little bit of a blowout, and then the Wizards came back and looked like they themselves might be the ones dishing out the blowout, it's tightened up. It's become a close, competitive match.
And you know who we have to thank for that, don't you?
The algorithm?
The almighty algorithm.
All glory to the algorithm. All hail.
Also, obviously, you've just got here this morning. Did you make any sacrifices to the almighty algorithm on your journey over, Lorcan?
Yes, I actually sacrificed several hours of sleep on the altar of the algorithm. So I'm hoping that it'll give the algorithm some rest in lieu of myself.
I've sacrificed my good health.
It wasn't that much of a sacrifice on your part.
And I mean, to be fair, it has given me this lovely, deep, gravelly voice.
It's nice.
It's not quite Barry White levels yet, but I'm sure it'll get there.
You don't like the sexy slither of a female snake?
What? What are you talking about?
No, I just heard some rumors.
I literally have no idea what you're on about. Genuinely 100%.
Sure you don't.
Rumors or trueness?
Yeah, exactly.
Rumors, because I literally don't know what you're on about.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said in court. And how'd it go there? Moving right back to the ultimate on the pitch.
Oh, this is nice from that Wizards until that throw. Just too far. He tried to toe the line, but he couldn't get his feet and his hands out at the same time. And so now Iron Horse can break again.
Nicola was trying to corral it, but he couldn't quite.
Just a touch too far, and Again, that's what we talked about the last point when Iron Horse were going in this direction, where sometimes you see an opportunity and you rush it. And there, again, maybe looking downfield a bit, or the throw just a tad too far, but Gwetsova couldn't make the catch, and now good field position for Wizards to put in their offense. Tenalia will pick up. Need to get a strike cut going from quite deep, going to lead him to space. Oh, it's going to sit and float, and he was not the intended target, but I don't think Wizards will mind. Nicola comes through to make the catch.
Making up for his earlier drop, this time coming in and saving possession, keeping the lead, 6-5. Have another look at it. Wizards' dump resetting has been so fantastic in the more recent points. And again, they just look for that straight strike up the line. Nicola comes in to clean it up.
It feels to me like Wizards playing at their top level should be the winners here, but so far this tournament, I feel like they haven't seen it themselves necessarily, and that's why you have to play these warm-up tournaments before Worlds, so you can really work out exactly what you need to do as a team to get yourself in the best possible condition to play and maximise your tactics and your strategy.
Really define your roles so that when you're exhausted, the thing that your brain does automatically is the right thing.
And obviously this is not the first time that we've seen Wizards this season. They came 8th position at their home tournament of Talampaya a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't there, but that footage is all online somewhere if you want to watch it. Again, our OLGTV crew was out there doing the production for that.
Working with Fanseed at Talampaya.
The sunglasses figure of Peter Rash on this near side and swings it into the centre.
Again, we see Iron Horse just comfortably swinging it back and forth, slowly pushing the Wizards down.
Yeah, nice and patient, just matriculating the disc down the field.
And now the Wizards get near halfway.
Yeah, transitioning into single coverage, and offense stagnates a little bit, gets the dump off. Tries to squeak it up the line, Vasudevan trailing, but close enough to dissuade the throw from going. Proshova with the disc now for Iron Horse. Takes the reset back to Pilatova. Trying to find that reset, isolated him. Oh, and the defender unsighted, and it goes beyond him, and the shot's going to go to the end zone. Vasudevan's in coverage, he's going to get beaten there. The receiver got there first and posterized him.
It's Hladik, and he's been having a stellar game so far, the real standout player for Iron Horse.
Vasudevan comes straight on the force, and maybe he got round enough to force too much blade on that
No,
throw.
I think that was entirely me singing Hladik's praises just a split second too soon.
Yes, well, you would, wouldn't you?
That's kind of my nature. I like jinxing people.
Wizards on the move now.
That was a fantastic grab by Sarah Harrison, getting horizontal to save possession on the up line.
I know her.
I think the whole world's going to know her if she keeps making plays like that. She goes with the desperation hook in the end.
On a high stall, and can't get the right edge on it. See, I don't know if you knew this about Sarah, but do you know it's her birthday today as well?
Is it?
It's genuinely her birthday. That's not me saying that to try and cause some shenanigans on this stream. Genuinely her birthday today.
Well, we'll have to wish her a happy birthday later on.
I suggest we get a rousing sing-along at the end of the game or during half-time or something along those lines.
And for now, the Wizards 2 points away from taking half. Lovely fake from Iron Horse.
Oh, fumbled the throw, but held on for long enough to make the catch. Oh, and has to require a bid, can't save it. And Wizards gonna burn the timeout, losing all his fantasy points, but not that anyone cares about that really.
I do like the timeout call. 6-5 within the opponent's half, looking for a break. Push it out.
Here's the thing though, is it going to be a timeout or is it going to be a turnout?
Those are always the questions. I think it's going to be a crafty timeout.
You think it's going to pay dividends, do you?
I think it's definitely the right call, and if you can't execute coming out of a timeout, then that is a mistake on the team themselves. When you're in that kind of position, it's nice to stop, take a breather, work out what you're going to do. They are so fantastic at the dump reset that when they have the time to set it up, I would keep my faith in it.
So 6-5, half an hour gone in this game. Pretty tight and back and forth.
I do find one of the main culprits of the timeouts that lead to being turnouts is people get tunnel vision. They get locked into the play that was called in the timeout, and they become addicted to it, that it's the only option, when in reality it's your option for 3 to 4 seconds, and then you're right back into your dump reset.
This is interesting because obviously the timeout's become a little bit of a catchphrase about this, and I've been talking to one of my coaches at university about this, Megan. Because she's one of these players who was a good set, and it's we tend to think about plays in terms of handlers and cutters, but there's more differentiation than that, and certain handlers are good at some things and not good at others. So a handler who's really good at breaking the mark is not necessarily going to be a handler who's really good at throwing deep shots, and handlers who pick up after turns need to have a certain set of skills, and it's about things like mark breaking, good decision making. You need to not be, you don't need to make the killer pass every time. You can just take the sensible option, and also recognizing when the plan you've drawn up is not going to come to fruition, and actually you just need to get a different plan on and just keep a cool head rather than panic about your set play not coming off.
So let's see what kind of a handler Simon is.
Don't trust him, he's got a first name for a surname.
It's always a bad indicator. Ravi Vasudevan goes up the line.
Oh, the disc's underthrown, it's just snatched away, and because of the turnout strikes again. Disc gonna go deep. Sarah Harrison's in coverage, it's gonna go over her head. Pushover's gonna put it into the end zone, and Iron Horse capitalized off the turnover, so the timeout works, but unfortunately not for Wizards. It works for Iron Horse, and we're tied back up at 6s now.
Brilliant response from Iron Horse, sending it deep and chasing after it immediately, not letting the Wizards try and get back in defense. Excellent transition from the Iron Horse out of that timeout.
Would you like some bracket news from the Open and Women's
I am
divisions?
a huge fan of bracket news.
So on the top half of the bracket in Open, we've got Cusp Lafota versus Free Speed.
Oh, love it.
Chevron Action Flash versus Foy.
Excellent.
Those two engaged in a sudden death game already this weekend.
We've got Fui came out on top of. Let's see if Chevron are able to pay them back.
In the bottom half of the draw, we've got Ragnarok versus your compatriots Ranelagh. They're having a great weekend.
They are having a fantastic tournament for themselves.
Dismantled Czech yesterday. And the game we're going to be streaming on Field 6 next round. Two teams, amazingly, we haven't actually streamed it after one of them snuck into the bracket. Bad Skid versus Clapham.
Oh, a repeat of the EUCF final from 2017. And many a battle on many a European field as Iron Horse are tearing down the pitch, looking for a break to take the lead, and they do so successfully.
Adrian Nemeth galloping to the open side for that disc, and 7-6 now. So Iron Horse, maybe that time I just gave them a chance to reset their breath and find their flow again on offense. And so this game's got so much back and forth in it.
It's really swinging from one side to the other. Neither team can gain assertive dominance, merely taking it from moments at a time. So Wizards, can they come back and respond? Trust in their O-line. It's just been a bit of miscommunication, a bit of miscues on the throws that have cost them. And every time it seems like they've cleaned them out, they fall suspect of them again.
So action from do you want the women's brackets as well?
I would love to hear the women's brackets.
Top half of the women's bracket, Yaka take on Mantis.
That's a tough draw for Mantis.
Mainz Mansion take on Fabulous, who we saw run out with a very large margin of victory in their last game. Margin of victory that knocked Enroladas out of the top 8.
Great to see Fabulous able to come back out here with their star players and reassert themselves after what was a disappointing 2017 season.
Another Dublin team making the bracket, this time in the women's division. Dublin Gravity take on Poland's Troubles.
That's a repeat of a game that was on the stream yesterday. The Troubles wound up victorious 14-12, but a very close, very engaging matchup.
And on Field 5 next round, we're going to be streaming Atletico versus Gentle Ladies.
So that is... Oh, what a fantastic play! But unfortunately, she couldn't get her hands all the way around it, and that one is a turnover.
Yannick Gala just a touch too short to get there. Got a hand on it, couldn't quite secure the catch, and now I'm also going to shoot, going to try and break for Harvin. One big shot, and whoa! Fumbled and caught on the second attempt by Marketa Pilatova.
I think that was the third attempt. Bounces out of her left hand into her right hand, and then she's able to clamp down on it. Third time the charm, always meant to do it, and that is half 8-6 for Iron Horse, and I would not have expected that.
They took a 3-1 lead, and then Wizards came roaring back, took a 5-3 lead, and now Iron Horse are on the march, 8-6. It's so many twists and turns and back and forth and lead change in this game. It's exhilarating stuff. Oh, I see there, just bobbles it and fumbles it and atrils it, and then eventually makes the catch to take us into half with another Iron Horse break. And this is not what Wizards would have wanted. Seen on the replay, looks infield and then sees the throw going. Plays it beyond the defender.
That is a fantastic throw from Jens Schwark.
And left, right, no. Oh, I'll just bundle it into the midriff, and as long as it stays in the breadbasket, it's all good.
Pilatova once, twice, 3 times a receiver.
Only counts once though.
No, unfortunately, it does only count the once.
So 8-6 at half time, and just does a little summary of confirmation what we've got coming up next round on the stream. Atletico versus Gentle Ladies on Field 5. Clapham Basket on Field 6.
So it means on Field 5 you're going to get to see the reigning EUCF champions. With the addition of Sarah Eklund, one of the best female cutters in Europe.
She had herself a pretty good game yesterday.
Did you know?
She did
I find that somewhat unsurprising.
They dismantled Yaka 15-11, I think.
Which is a huge surprise to a lot of people watching at home who are thinking Yaka are the real powerhouse, especially in the somewhat vacuum that seems to exist with the perceived vulnerability of Iceni, especially after that Tom's tourney final and the recent performance at Tour. And Yaka were kind of seen as La Dizem, which I love saying. But maybe they could extend their dominance from France to Europe, a bit Napoleonic.
Gentle Ladies weren't at ECF last year, were they? Because they chose not to go in order to preserve money for Worlds this year, and this is a shame because there were many people's hot tips to go far in that tournament, and so I think we've streamed Gentle Ladies so far this weekend, and that's going to be a game that I'm probably going to wander over to when this is finished.
Gentle Ladies have a lot of talent, know each other very well, very consistent, but they do seem to miss that extra edge. They don't have, or at least they haven't been able to access a higher gear so far this season, as evidenced by their disappointing performance in the hometown, or not in the hometown tournament, but in the Belgian tournament, Tom's tourney. So we'll see if they're able to correct it. Coming into the top 8, Windmill is the right way to change your fate, though.
And Clapham versus Basket met already in the tournament where Clapham ran out 15-9 winners, but Clapham have been a little up and down this week, so they do say it's tough to beat the same team twice.
That's certainly how I feel if I was in Cusp's position, the team that Delta lost to Clapham yesterday.
So the second half is underway with Wizards pulling to Iron Horse.
Iron Horse with the opportunity to take what would be a commanding lead.
Snatch with one outstretched hand here. The Iron Horse receiver. Bakarova looking around, goes for a high release, it's going to pop up, and good body position there. Branislav Jasko boxing out, but maybe a little too bumpy with the box. I think that Nicola seems to be indicating that he was backing in a little bit there, using his frame to really push out of the way before going up.
There's also a stall-out call that has been called on Pelorova.
So contested foul is the resolution there, but there's a stall out here. I don't know whether this stall out is contested or uncontested.
That seems to be what we're waiting for. Pekarova isn't indicating either way. So this will be coming in stalling 8.
Pekarova's got to find a way to get a release valve quickly. If I'm the force, I'm going to get right the way around instantly to stop that instant swing to the middle of the field. It's Jenny Adichie who's got the job of doing it. And, oh, managed to find a little inside shot to...
That was tidy.
Open up a release valve. That's a nice throw. And the lefty backer's going to sit over the top, and Shambor's going to pick it out of the sky for the Wizards. Putting a rabbit out of a hat there. Here's Calvin Schenk.
Oh, we know this team is full of tricks.
Looking downfield, doesn't like that option. Takes Tannenwald. Here's Schenk. Fakes the back end into the middle of the field, and there's going to be a little stoppage here. Just checked back into play, and Wizards offense looking a little bit stagnant, it has to be said there.
They're struggling to escape their own end zone line. Swinging it back and forth nicely, but then not getting that second continuation cut.
Yeah, here's Chambord now. They're finding it's in downfield movement, but this is going to go back on a travel call. Yeah, just a little bit stop-starty, which is a very accurate description. Stop-starty, good English, trust me.
You are English.
Yeah, and therefore I'm always right. No, hang on, that's not right. Nice swing into the middle. Just working around the back. Jenny Adichie has it and finds a nice option into the middle. High release. Goes toward Biance. And there's going to be a pig, and this is getting very stuttery.
This one is a difficult point to really sink your teeth into when there are all these little calls constantly having to stop and start. You do get to take a bit of a breather, but it can really upset the flow, and that's something Wizards have been looking for the past few points.
Nice little leading pass through there. Good cutting in the handler space. Throw in front of Chambord, who's been such a reliable cutter generally for this Wizards side. Swing's going to go around the back. Tannenwald calls off the other handler, puts his name on it. Here's Biance. That handler set is very cluttered. One clears through, and that frees the reset to Adichie. Nice lead pass into space. Continuation into the end zone. That's much more like it from Wizards.
And again, we see that excellent execution of the dump reset. Dump and swing in front of the end zone. That is the key to their success. Fundamental building block, something I'm constantly preaching. If you can do the dump reset right, you don't really need to know how to do anything else.
Marion Devisi didn't get a lot of disc time that point, but it was a well-timed cut in the end zone coming to the open side. And here we look at it again on the replay, just lugging it around, and well-timed cut towards the front, kind of the defenders always trailing, and good start of the second half there from Wizards, getting a break on the board, reducing the deficit to 8-7. Burgundy seems to be a very popular jersey colour at the moment, doesn't it?
It's really enjoying a renaissance. I'm also wearing a burgundy jumper right now, and I think it looks great. I'm also wearing burgundy shoes.
Ooh, get you.
Yeah, I know, right? You see the way my laces are a different colour as well?
Ooh, fancy pants.
Yes, I'm a very fancy person.
Good work if you can get it.
And I can. And now hopefully Iron Horse are looking to get back their lead.
Yeah, the pull from Wizards is just going to tail off. It's going to land inbounds before going out on the sideline. Looking like a zone from the Wizards. Oh, the throw's a little bit too far, and it's going to get the turn, just forcing these big lateral swings, and maybe the wind. It's not a lot of it, but maybe just a big slap ever so slightly, and it took it out of the path. And
these mistakes are what has stopped either of the teams from pulling away. Every time one of the teams has a substantial lead, has 1 to 2 points, and has had the ability to build on it, they've made these kind of mistakes, short field turnovers.
So the perspective of Vasudevan picks it up, and immediately he's going to put it downfield to Estelle Riviere. Looking for a reset. Oh, tries to squeeze it in. It's going to pop up, and oh, it nearly for the second time for Alban Bordeaux collecting some trash, but just couldn't close his hand in time. And Wizards looking a bit confused on defense as to exactly what they're going to do. They're just going to transition into going single coverage, I think. The man open, and what a layout! D just bursting out of the traps is Ben Tannenwald. Here's Vasudevan taking the reset. Trying to be calm and good option. Just chill a little bit. There's a blade to Sarah Harrison, and the birthday girl gets a goal. We're tied back up at 8 apiece now. What a layout D from Wizards. Lovely stuff.
Fantastic, fantastic defensive effort from Wizards to get that back. A lot of the time the short field turnovers have been miscues, have been miss throws, but Tannenwald was like, nope, I'm going to lay out full extension, long, tall body, sneaks in, bada, boom.
Love it.
I love how quickly Ravi Vasudevan, obviously I prefer it, was a more skilled and reliable handler, but I like the fact that they're eager to take advantage, and Vasudevan.
Look, are you just mad that he's better because he's doing better than you in the picks contest?
No, I'm not mad about that. I'm just being an impartial pundit and speaking what my opinion is on matters that I see in front of me. And as everybody knows, I'm right pretty much all the time. So I'm a trusted voice of ultimate intellectualism, and I calls them how I sees them.
That's a worrying sign of how far I can reach.
This is what happens when the people who get to do stuff are just the people who are arsed doing stuff.
That's a hell of a pull, by the way, by Wizards. I wouldn't let that go out the back.
I would have also let that go out the back.
But Einhorn's choosing to field it, and now they're in a really tough position. They're working it out of their end zone, and actually they're getting some flow going quite nicely here. There's an inside channel there, forcing this back in towards the middle of the field. I think there's a bit of radio force middle here. Nice inside break. Shooting it down the side, and oh, big bid is just empty. Pekarova laid out for it, couldn't quite bring it in, and she's going to have to take an injury sub as well. They just took a bit of a heavier
That was
landing.
some of the best offense we've seen Iron Horse play all game. From the back of their own end zone, smoothly.
Maybe that's why they caught it, because it meant they could get a chance to get the disc in motion before that defense could get set, as opposed to taking the brick with the team of the defense already staring at you.
Not low. Wizards set up comfortably. So now Wizards looking to tie this game back up.
Jake Simon takes the swing. You can see him gesturing for the inside backhand. Thinks about getting it back off, but instead Pache just goes towards the far side. Here's Montaner. Looking around. Takes the reset off. Schenk comes through into that reset space, but drops it.
You see him clap his hands in frustration, but I like how quickly he shook it off.
Yeah, immediately ready to play some defense. Pay dividends for his mistakes. Not a lot going on downfield for Iron Horse. That defense is a bit late there, so that pass is going to be completed. Goes this near slide, and oh, there's a stall out called over on the far side of the field. It felt like the disc did stay with Branislav Jasko for quite a while. Don't know whether it was the full 10 seconds, but is any stall count ever the full 10 seconds?
No.
No. I think we timed it under 23s. It was about 7 seconds, the average stall out.
Seems about right.
I think one was 4 seconds or something, and it was uncontested.
It's just the panic. It's tough to expect people pumped full of adrenaline to count to 10 at a reasonable pace.
It's a nice reset there. To release the stall count. Oh, defender comes underneath, can't get there in time, and needs to throw and go up line without much pressure. Nice strike cut there. Throw's going to sit a little bit, can't quite milk it all the way into the end zone. Receiver's going to attack this near cone, and defender was way off the pace that time, and so Iron Horse are going to retake the lead for this first point of this second half, a 9-8 margin. The current scoreline, it's tight stuff.
I've been incredibly impressed with the work of Jan Rosina, number 12 for Iron Horse. We'll see him get the disc. He just keeps making himself available in high stall situations, gaining yards or gaining favorable position, and then making the right decision subsequently.
And here's something we haven't seen a little bit of today. We've got some wind.
Ooh.
Ooh, I think you mean it's a bit
A little bit of bite to that wind.
It's a bit nippy.
Yeah.
It's a bit nippy. We're just gonna huddle nice and close.
Like penguins.
Whack,
Whack.
whack,
Whack, whack,
whack,
whack, whack,
whack.
whack. See? We're going to have to find a way to poison the city's water supply without Batman stopping us, see?
Oh, my penguins were all on the Adventure Time line of penguins.
You know, for me, the classic penguin noise will always be Pingu.
Yeah, no. That's enough of that look, and we're doing serious ultimate commentary here.
Of course, this is real broadcast journalism.
I wouldn't go that far.
At its finest. Well, it's being broadcast.
Yeah, I mean the journalism part. Oh, that throw's going to pop up, and Iron Horse going to catch the D, and immediately just turn it over. The throw's a bit low. It's the turf, and so Wizards get out of jail free there.
Nice recovery defense after the disc popped over the intended receiver's head.
So Nadia finds a throw downfield, and a rare drop from Chambord. Iron Horse picking up, swinging the disc into the centre, trying to give them both sides to really attack. Nice underneath there. Oh, and that throw's just going to be
Lot of turfed discs or skied discs, or just throwaways in general in this point.
Yeah, execution errors beginning to creep in for both sides.
Iron Horse 9-8 up. But it has been a slow and stuttery start to the second half.
And one good turf serves another, I guess.
Just trying to see who can outdo each other for throwaways. Well, I can throw my disc 10 feet away from me into the ground. Well, I can throw it 8 feet away from me into the ground.
Just confirm, neither of these are good things that you should be doing.
Just to clarify. Once again, the ultimate intellectualism coming to the fore. You don't get this kind of insight with most sports.
Iron Horse with Wizards doing a pretty good job in coverage. It's a nice strike cut from behind the handler by Stankovic. The swing goes into the centre. Looking around, not really seeing a huge amount. Defender's a bit slow.
Fantastic up the line cut.
Going to squeeze into this front cone. Oh, just a touch too far, and Balatova can't snag it with that outstretched right arm, and unable to pour it in. It's going to give Wizards another chance to convert their offense.
And I don't even think all of these are down to the wind. It's just execution errors. Like you were saying, these are small things that they can fix, just a bit more focus. Some of the intensity, some of the heat has gone out of this game.
Oh, that's another throwing error. It got too far inside and was mopped up gladly by Iron Horse. And they're just faking around, looking for an option, not really seeing a huge deal, and with the defender turn to put it out into space for the back cone. But they just got at exactly the right moment there.
Running out of time, running out of space, some brilliant close quarters cutting. This time it was on the part of Miroslav Stankovic. And you can see here again, he goes to clear out, decides against it, cuts right back to the end zone corner. Perfectly executed.
So that's a couple on the bounce now for Iron Horse, taking a 10-8 lead currently in this game. And again, every time it feels like one side's beginning to get a foothold, they just let it slip, and then the other person's on top. It's like, I'm trying to think of it. It's like, okay, it's me and you in the booth, so I'm going to use a wrestling analogy.
Okay.
That totally real sport. It's like when you watch a ladder match and people eventually, like, they begin to climb the ladder, and as soon as it looks like they're going to get anywhere near the top, someone comes out of nowhere and pulls them off, and then it's their turn to go and climb, and then they can't do it.
Back and forth and back and forth.
And eventually it's a battle of attrition. You just wear the other person out until eventually they just can't stop you anymore.
Or you throw a trumpet at them.
Trombone?
Trombone. Same thing.
I mean, as someone who used to play the trumpet, it's certainly not the same thing.
Well, as somebody who used to also play the trumpet, you're right.
Yep. One uses the slide and the other does not. Uses valves. No, I guess much imagine having a little slide. Anyway, enough brass talk. Let's get down to brass tacks instead.
And that was, well, if we're getting down to brass tacks, that was a terrible throw.
Yeah, not the pull they probably had in mind. But at least it's not going to go out early, and they're just going to bring it in from the brick mark with Pascal Biance. Working his way to the middle of the pitch before marching it down. No brick marks actually marked out on this field, so it's a bit of a...
You know, I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised by that. For all the incredibly high standards that Windmill maintains, exhibits, established in a lot of instances, do you think they'd have brick marks?
Nah, brick marks are lame.
You're lame.
I never denied that. Nice down the line cut there. The continuation is going to pop it up. Oh, Chambord's pretty good in the air and got up early enough to get that just in front of the defender. Was pretty good coverage from Licia Pekarova, but nice faith there backing your receiver to go up and get the disc, and it was dutifully repaid. So Wizards closed the scoreline. Nice comfortable hold there. 10-9 the score.
Shamba is integral to everything positive happening on these Wizard lines. She's such a tireless cutter, constantly getting free. I don't think Iron Horse have a player who can mark her, and they are really starting to utilize it more and more as the game wears on.
Really begin to run the offense through her hands downfield a bit more.
They need a break. So here comes the D-line.
And here comes the sun as well. This is nice. I haven't really seen much.
Fakes the deep cut, but the movement is really stopped downfield for Iron Horse. There's a little bit of walking, but no one's cutting with any aggressive
Look a little bit
intention.
lethargic now.
Very much so. Laconic almost.
You hope it's lethargic rather than apathetic. That's when you really have to worry. They're doing a pretty good job of moving it around nicely here, though.
Smart. They're finding themselves in the right places, in fairness to the Iron Horse cutters. They're not doing anything with any real urgency, and there's a big shot to the end zone. Well read and sniffed out.
Greedily gobbled up by Kailash. Takes the swing off. So he goes underneath. Oh, just don't know what he saw there, but there was only an Iron Horse defender waiting, and he's going to pop it in at the first possible opportunity. And after really good work picking off that deep shot, earning the turn, they just give it back immediately. And Iron Horse taking it the second time of asking.
Branislav Yashko, forgive me, is generally more known for his throwing, for his offensive capabilities. But if you're going to just lash the disc at him, he'll get that D. And then that's the kind of man you want if you're Iron Horse on the end zone line looking to pop in a score. Comfortably done, and the Wizards again watch the opportunity to equalize. Just slip away. I felt the same when they brought it back to 8-8. 8-6 they started the half. Break, 8-all. Get the turn. This is your chance to take the lead back, and they can't. And that's the difference between the second half Wizards and the first half Wizards. They were able to surmount Iron Horse. Right now they're able to draw back to them and then let them slip away again. They're going to need to tighten up.
Every time they draw level, Iron Horse just inch their way back in front. So Wizards on the move now. Nice catch there by Shambor, as it so often is.
That was just a bit of a miscue. The disc was always low, and Galland couldn't get underneath it. So Iron Horse now looking to establish what would be a commanding lead.
Pretty good defense though from Wizards. Not a lot going on. Has to try and float one towards the far side, and it's going to be greedily picked off by Wizards.
Didn't realize in time that the disc was in the air. Tannenwald with the disc now. A nice inside backhand break, or at least it looked like that, looking for Stamba, but couldn't get there. Excellently D'd up by Jakub Juraszek.
Yeah, read that one all the way. But I think a call here, it looks like. Didn't see it.
I don't know. It was Juraszek coming across and intercepting the disc, but I feel like he just got to the spot before Stambach could, and I personally wouldn't have sent that back.
I'm wondering if the foul wasn't there, but it was somewhere else, which we didn't see.
Or potentially.
Here's Galland for Wizards. Fakes the backhand. Nice inside shot there. Continuation down towards that far side. Now into the middle. He was swinging around. This is nice. Here's Shank, the lefty. Isolates a reset. Tannenwald has it. Maybe he's thinking about a shot towards that break side. So going to put it into space. Adichie looking around and just takes the reset. This is nice patience here from Wizards. Shank has it. Again, looking for options, and not a huge amount going on. That's a nice break. Just to pop up ever so slightly, but it got the job done. Wizards, oh, nice footwork there from Yannick Galland. Jumping into the front of the end zone, making the catch with a feet in the air. First point of contact in the zone for the goal. So they're going to reduce the deficit. Still going to mount a couple of breaks there if they're going to win this game. Iron Horse currently 11-10 to the good.
Galland really stepping up and taking over that possession when her team needed her to. Getting some nice unders, resetting the disc, looking comfortable doing it, and then getting the score right in front of the end zone. Cheeky little hop in. Somebody on Wizards needed to take control.
Seems like the algorithm knows what it's doing, doesn't it?
It certainly seems to be setting us up for an all-universe point finish. Every time you think one team's going to spear ahead, no team has ever been 3 points up in this game.
I mean, if you're wondering how hot the sun is, it's not that hot, but it's not going to stop our OTTV crew going all suns out, guns out. You know what these camera people are like, any excuse.
I mean, honestly, I was a little disappointed that their guns weren't out when I showed up this morning.
I wasn't.
You got to take your shirt off at every opportunity you get, Benji. Otherwise, how else will the world know?
Know what?
What you're all about, what you got. It's a well-documented fact that we understand each other by how looking at each other's chests.
No, you got to make them work for it, Lorcan.
Agreed, disagree.
Make them shiver in anticipation. Here's the Iron Horse. Ah, damn it. Can leave that for longer. Oh! Throws a bit behind and...
In that instance, Iron Horse left it a bit too long and couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, Pilatova stuck out a right hand. Couldn't quite pour it in, and so now Wizards can tie things up again. Here's Riviere. Faking at the dump. Not a lot going on, so she's going to have to shoot for the end zone, or it might hang up. If the guy had a touch more error on it, could have been a chance for a play to be made, but...
I really thought the Ants would have been able to put some kind of sketchy bid there, but valuing his body more.
Can live to fight another play. So, back to zone from Wizards. 3 up front. Oh, that's an expansive blade all the way across the field. Nicely weighted and well reeled in. You see in the centre now, dished off, and Wizards are going to transition. That throws low, but kept alive, and the shot goes. Oh, saw it a bit late, and nice.
That is an absolutely fantastic throw from Jakub Hladek. I'm talking about how crucial he is, especially on the offensive end. Showing once again just how important that kind of throwing confidence can be. It was Branislav Yashko.
Every zone's going to leave you a space somewhere. The question is, where is that space and can you open it up? And that time, that blade raking across the field was exactly the way to do it.
Fantastic throw. I remember us talking about, at the start of the game, based off talent or what you would think of talent coming in, it definitely seemed like Wizards should be coming ahead with this one. But based off the game so far and just team cohesiveness, Iron Horse, to me, looked like the far more likely winners.
Yeah, they're good value for their leaders. Certainly not undeserved. Wizards offense is going to go back to work. We should see that Wizards have used pretty much their full complement of players, and they have brought a larger roster here than their opponents, and going to be a foul call there, uncontested, so this is going to stay with the Wizards.
They're looking to claw their way back into this game.
Here's Neff. Trying to show back underneath. Well, takes the reset, but just as she pivoted around to throw, Yadichi had begun to start to move up the line, and so that's going to cause a miscommunication and a turnover. Players working exactly what their assignments are going to be on this defense.
Hladek can do whatever he wants, and what he wants is a deep shot.
Oh, it's a touch too far. Nearly there, but couldn't quite get the execution to hang up long enough. And so, first throw turn, but at least they got some field position in doing so.
take. Comfortable. Somehow taking all the speed and zip off it and then putting it back on with a bit too much for Neff.
Just slipped through his hands like an eel slithering through.
And now we see Iron Horse swing it, trying to get themselves going again. They're in the middle of the pitch. Mala swings it out wide to the sideline. Lots of pressure coming, but staying strong. Bekarova sends it down the line now. Mala again looking for options, and it just gets a little bit physical. Maybe the Iron Horse ladies would have been better just playing a bit of gender isolation there. They were running the show, and as soon as they tried to get somebody else involved, Rosina just got boxed out.
Yeah, Bian's had position and was able to get the D. And so Wizards struggling this low point to punch it in. Nice throw there to Divisi. And then working it down this sideline. Going to reset his feet inbounds. Swing back into the centre to Yadici. So he's a little bit low. Sliding grab made by Pironi.
Perhaps to his detriment.
He's going to call an injury. And he's replaced by Giacomo Tenalia. It's a strong, strong name, and he's a strong veteran. 20 years in the game. It's a decent
captain of this team.
Decent amount of time, isn't it?
I mean, you look at him, he looks like he's maybe 20.
Does have a little bit of baby face going on. Nice underneath to Yadici. Looking around for a break, not seeing a lot. Oh, the defender bites too much going backwards, and that's going to open up space to the break side. There's a pick going on, and get off the field, Ravi. Turns into high fives for the sideline. That'll teach you some
bit of fun in the old 23rd, 24th place battle right now.
It's quite intense, though.
Oh, yes, definitely. Tight games will do that.
They will, especially in Swiss draw. Swiss draw.
Now approaching the 70th minute. Reality of a time cap slowly starting to set in.
So Wizards check the disc in. He's going to take the reset. And working around the handlers before a cut comes the open side and just rushed it a second too much. Divisi can't get there. And so Iron Horse will get the turn after what had been a really nice patient passage of play from Wizards.
And normally in this game at least, when the Wizards were in that situation and they did take the time to set up their dump reset when the likes of Tenalia was on the pitch to marshal it, they were able to put it in. That was a rare miscue. There's now Iron Horse stuck on their front corner of their end zone. Kladik eventually able to get it off. Looking for options. Rosina, who's been fantastic cutting for them, and play it down. Huge hook to the incredibly free Alina Mala. Reins it in the front corner of the end zone. They've gone front corner of their own to front corner of the opponents. Kladik realizes he's just clogging, gets out of there, gets the dump, thinks about the hammer. I know you're thinking about it, decides against it, goes for the floaty flick instead and gets it, though there is a pick called by Wizards.
That is going to go back. The reason they're able to get that deep shot off was because defender bit a little too hard on trying to get a deal on the strike, and that left him way out of position, so that backhand could go easily into space without a force on.
Called it.
And there's the hammer over the top. You did call it, and I think the Wizards called it as well. They could see it in his eyes, could see it in his smile, and they're just going to knock it to the ground. And this point is really grinding on these teams. There's going to be another pick, and as these points go on, you can't space your offenses efficiently. You're just a little bit fatigued, a little bit weary, and these calls will begin to creep in.
There has been a couple of these points over the course of the game.
So there have been patches of where it's been really fluid from both sides, and also patches where it's been a little bit ugly. Oh, the wind bubbled that one a bit.
Still, they get away with it.
And this is looking nice. Finally, they got some spacing going, and there was a window there, but they didn't take it, and now their offense stagnates. looking maybe for a shot down this sideline. Looking for the strike cut, a little bit clustered, but gets it off to Yadichi. Now she's going to pivot around. Nice swing into the middle of the field, and they can attack down that break side. This is when Wizards are at their best, when they're getting these breaks and this dump and swing. Nice up the line there, forcing it through that inside channel, threading the needle. Neff's going to look towards the break side, and he's not going to get there. Is the defender, but there's a pick that's going to bring it back regardless.
Yeah, Stankovic pulling out of trying to get a D on that.
So for Wizards, I think this is their last big tournaments before going to Cincinnati, and they'd love to get a few more wins under their belt.
Neff on the end zone. That's what he is thinking right now. How do I get this in? No fest, no muss. Simple as.
Oh, and the shot's just behind. Again, it's, how many times have we seen that? They get a window and they rush it, and the throw's not on the spot.
And by closing that window, they open a door once again for Iron Horse to take the first 3-point lead of this game.
The score on the far sideline has got it 11-12.
Nope, you are correct. Sorry.
And that's going to be a timeout for Iron Horse, which I think is a good call. This point has really dragged on.
It's really extended out. Starting to wear down on them mentally, starting to wear down on them physically. Timeout in your own end zone, though.
Interesting place to call it. And Wizards won't mind because they can set up something crafty here and really threaten the Callahan. I can't remember seeing many timeouts called in this specific position. Probably can remember a few turnouts being called here, though.
So, Iron Horse looking to power on through and knock this score. And they've shown they're able to work it well. They've shown they're able to work it effectively. What seems to be letting them down, and certainly in the last few points, is that final execution. Even the Ds that the Wizards have gotten, they've been because the discs were too floaty or were just blatantly at the Wizards players.
It was like consistency has been the biggest enemy for both these sides. They both had really nice passages of play, but not been able to unlock those regularly enough. And at this level, you can't really afford to do that because better teams will really punish you for that. And you kind of get the feeling if one side had really been able to really capitalise on the terms, they could be running away with it here. But generally, whenever one side had a little bit of a lapse in concentration or quality, the other side's been exactly the same.
There has been a little bit of dovetailing at times, or one team will snap it on for a point or two, but they've never been able to maintain that level. And I suppose that goes some way to revealing what they're doing down here in the 23rd, 24th place game.
Yeah, you feel if both these sides had played their best throughout the tournament, they'd be higher up the Swiss Draw rankings, but obviously the algorithm doesn't care about how good you potentially are. It's only how good you are, what your record says you are, essentially.
Quantitative. To a fault, some might argue. But we would never do that. All hail the algorithm.
All hail.
So now, Iron Horse. Looking to work their way out of the end zone, a precarious position.
This is interesting, it's almost like a Japanese Army style defense. You've got one on the force, two shoulders, and then two underneath and two deep. And so they're going to give up these swings in order to stop getting any yard gainers downfield.
And I like that. Try and trap them in the end zone.
It requires a lot of concentration, a lot of communication, though. You need to be disciplined, not lose your shape, or get dragged out of position.
Make your opponent throw 100 passes. See if they drop one. Nice little no-look dish.
Tasty stuff there. Well, you love money on the sushi go round. And this is now nice from Iron Horse. They found a bit of movement going downfield, and then rather than panic and jam it through, they're just resetting, and transition comes in a huge layout D. Just the throw was a bit soft, and it allowed Neff to come steaming through, peeled off his man to get the block, and That could be a big energizer for Wizards.
A big part about that low pressure on the dump throw zone. It leads to a bit of lethargy that you can then try and take advantage of.
And they're going to get it all in one as well, and Wizards will tie things up at 12s.
Well, that was a mammoth point, one we will be glad to see go extinct, but the Wizards able to get the crucial score in the end and tie up the game one more time. Now, they haven't been in the lead this half. I believe the last time they were in the lead, they were 5-4 up.
It feels about around that point, yeah.
So now at
5-3,
12-12, they have equalized. Game to 3. How many times you finish training, your coach just goes, all right, we'll play a game to 3.
So interestingly, the scoreboard hasn't actually moved after that goal. So maybe we were right. Maybe it was 12-10, and they were just a little bit eager with that. And so it's 12-11 now, I think. A little bit of confusion with the scoreboard on that far side.
We have to have a word with these scorekeepers and all this insider trading.
Yeah, both sides seem to be happy for it to be 11-12 though. Or are they?
I'm very concerned they're going to come to us and ask us, do we know?
Well, they didn't do that last game when we thought the game should have ended 1 point earlier than it did.
Professionalism at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. As here come Iron Horse.
And once more, we're going to see zone look from Wizards. I think this is a good move to slow down Iron Horse. Make them really dink and dunk it around the back, pinball it around. Working through pretty efficiently now, though, and Cool goes for a transition. Nice swing across to the far side of the field. Dished upfield to Yasko. Lefty looking, finds a backhand downfield into space. This is really slick from Iron Horse, actually. They've done well off this transition. Big, powerful, purposeful fake, and the high release backhand caught with one hand by Pashova. That's a nice point for Iron Horse. The zone didn't really cause them any problems that time and restore a couple of point advantage at 13-11.
It was a very, very nice point from Iron Horse, exactly when they needed to have that consistent offensive hold. Tore through the Wizards zone to the point where you thought maybe they weren't playing defense at all, and using all the extremities of their squad. And then just look at that, a flippant dish into the end zone. Fantastic stuff from Adrian Nemeth.
So with time running out in this game, Iron Horse very much in the driver's seat. Couple of points up. Wizards going to have to find a couple of breaks if they're going to come and win this game.
And do you think they can do it? They're now 4 points down with...
2 points down.
4 points away from the end, sorry. So they're going to need to score at least 2 breaks.
It's interesting because we have seen them string together a run of points earlier in this game, and that ball's going to land out of bounds. And
I believe they strung together 4 points at the start of this game, after going 2-0 down, going 4-2 up. And that was the moment where I thought, oh, maybe the Wizards will run away with this.
And then, as we've seen so often, teams fighting back. The scoreboard gets temporarily unpegged on that far side to allow space for the threat to pivot around. Chambord gets free underneath to initiate things for Wizards.
As she so frequently does. Tireless cutting.
Nice a dump. Oh, it's a pretty squirrely work, though. In the end, just the blade goes to the end zone, and it's going to go over everybody and mopped up at the back. A bailout blade is rescued.
Thomas Nicola able to just sneak in there, slip in the back, make the catch. Not too bad. As we say back home, not too shabby, Alonso.
That's bad. I'm not going to endorse anything vaguely Liverpool Football Club related. Don't stick your tongue out on me, young man. I hear a drone.
Yeah, that's what I hear every time you talk.
Oh, shush you.
Oh, that was a pretty good one. Yeah, he can't, because he's angry, ladies and gentlemen, but he also respects the craft.
Right, ladies, gentlemen, and the androgynous.
Oh, of course, yes.
We're millennials, we're wokemen.
Are we millennials?
Yeah.
I think I'm a bit old to be a millennial.
No. We're prime millennial territory, mate.
No, I'm a willennium. A
That-
willennial.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, it is Willennium.
Start.
Will Smith's eponymous and also classic 2000 album.
So I try to make millennium happen. It's not going to happen.
It already happened. It's been happening for 18 years.
It really hadn't.
As here come Iron Horse, trying to gallop their way into a favourable position in bracket play.
Swing to the middle of the field. Oh, nearly got defended, but fast hands is going to keep this in Iron Horse possession, pivoting round and finds the reset that he wanted. Reeled in with one hand, working downfield, goes up with the right to bring it in, fakes it and gets a little bit of a bump for his troubles as well. And that will reset the score count. Going to do a big backhand blade, roll curving all the way across the field. Good coverage, but not quite good enough. And Nemeth goes up with one hand and brings it out of the sky. And that's going to put Iron Horse 1 point away from the win here. 14-12, the current scoreline over Wizards.
Bordeaux has been making huge plays for the Wizards all game long. That one was just a step too far, an inch too high as Nemeth gets up above him for the score. What will be the penultimate score, ideally, for his team as they move within one of the win. Let's have another look. We see Bordeaux coming across, but can't get there before Nemeth. Great positioning, great read, taking it down.
So 14-12, the current scoreline. And if Wizards are going to mount a comeback here, it's going to have to be 3 on the bounce, and you do feel that that's a little bit unlikely at this stage. Stranger things have happened, though. And they've happened on this stream as well.
Have we seen many huge comebacks over the course of Friday?
Did you watch Reading Cruit yesterday?
I did. That was
There
rather
you are.
spectacular. The 10-4 second half that they had. Not quite as much time. It was also a little bewildering.
Yeah, I don't really remember ever seeing Cruit collapse like that before.
I mean, the last time I saw something like that happen to them, it was in the EUCF 2016, where they were a bunch of 18-year-olds who had no business being in the final.
And Reading weren't even at full strength yesterday, missing a couple of players that are going to be at Worlds. So good signs for them.
Galland playing it down the line. Wizards hoping to keep this game going at least a little bit longer. Neff, he's had a really strong second half after a bit of a stuttery first one. And that reckless emergency backhand, the safety blade, giving us reason for a safety dance as it is comfortably corralled by Yannick Galland. Fun fact about Yannick Galland, you may notice even though small of stature, she was able to get that high disc. She actually donated 6 inches to orphan children in Montana.
Wow, that is
Very generous of her, you know.
what a lovely thing to do.
So, Iron Horse are going to get 2 shots at least. Though in their mind, they'll hopefully do 1, although they are going up against a very much enlivened Wizards defense and the far more dangerous threat of the algorithm's prediction.
All hail.
All hell. So, can they do it? Wizards, you need 2 breaks in a row. You got your offensive hold. Barely, I would have to say. As it came down to a bit of a, yes, well, it all still counts, but it was a sketchy flick blade that worked out for them in the end. So, first of all, they're going to have to get the disc off their opponents. Iron Horse coming out here with a strong line, looking to put this match to bed.
So Iron Horse trying to end it. Nice inside break to the middle of the field there. Big fake. Not going on, so has to take the shot downfield. Good coverage actually from Wizards. Always had the inside track and Now they've got a break opportunity. They could take it to Universe here. Here's Divisi. Galland.
Galland has had a very strong game, with Shambaugh being one of the main targets downfield for the Wizards team.
Here's Schenk.
Faking the hammer.
Just teasing it and not going to put it out though. Going to take the reset.
This is that expansive swing play that Wizards have used to great effect.
Yeah, there's got to be a poach somewhere. There was someone looked like they were double covered, but in the end, just find an underneath cut. And they're going to again dish it over to that break side, but the continuation's not quite there on time. Going to try and squeeze it through. Nice athletic grab with one hand by Ben Tannenwall's going to shoot all the way across the field. Oh, the receiver stumbles a little bit, but it's good enough for Calvin Schenk to make the catch and take us onto Universe. The algorithm, you are proved right once more. How did we ever doubt you?
Hail the algorithm. Could somebody come up with an algorithm so I can make key decisions in my life using this?
I'll ask them. Oh, this is scintillating stuff.
So, Benji, as we always have to do when it comes down to these Universe point games.
Oh, you're not going to ask me to make a prediction, are you?
Do you remember being in secondary school back when you were like 10 years old? No. So, Benji, who do you fancy?
Good ultimate. I fancy the out. I don't know, look. I just don't know.
Make a pick. Do you trust Iron Horse's ability to make an offensive hold? Or do you think the Wizards, who get a D, and the D they got in the previous point was from a huck from someone who hadn't hucked all game long?
I'm gonna make a call. There will be at least one turnover. I don't think either side's gonna score. I don't think Iron Horse are gonna score cleanly.
I loved the fact that once the Wizards got that disc, they played consistent offense. I think if the Wizards get the disc, they're going to win. But I don't think they're going to get the disc.
Interesting. This is a bit like when I was young, and whenever I watched anything on TV with my dad, he'd always let me pick sides regardless. It's like, well, I'm watching Robot Wars, we're watching Scrappy Challenge, you don't need to pick sides. No, you must choose.
You have to pick sides when you watch Robot Wars.
I bet you scored. I was on Team Dietor every damn time.
You're goddamn right you were.
Yep. At least one thing we can agree on.
True champions.
So here we are. Looking around, this is good coverage from Wizards. Their defense is really wamped up with the game on the line. Oh, and there's the turn.
Excellent stuff, and they're right outside the end zone line, so this is the moment for the Wizards to work some magic and spirit us away. Can they do it?
Bian's going to pick it up. Oh, with the ace up the sleeve. It's knocked away. What a huge layout D from Iron Horse.
Shut it down. Whoa. Shut it down. Fantastic stuff from Jakub Jurasek.
Saving Iron Horse's bacon there. They look to the gift horse in the mouth, and you should never do that. The Wizards made to pay, and there's the shot under coverage. Oh, it's just going to sneak through. 3 Wizards defenders were nearby, and none of them could get it, and now Iron Horse running the gauntlet. Thinking about the deep, just going to fake it and look for a swing option. Here's Jurasek, who got that heroic layout D. Vladic guys to find it in the middle of the field. It's knocked away. Bian's peeled off to get the block. So now Wizards maybe thinking about getting it all in one. Instead, just going to be patient. Into the middle of the field. Oh, nice grab under pressure. It's Shambaugh again. Not necessarily a surprise that. Dumps off to Tannenwald. Here's Galland thinking about the shot. Going to look for the reset. Nice catch. Here's Yadici. There's a pick downfield. Oh, this is tight.
This is very tight. I was very wrong with my call anyway. There's been a lot of turnovers. Most of them down to pretty good defense, though.
Here's Yadici. Going to shoot for the end zone for Shambaugh, and it's only appropriate that she makes the catch for the Wizards win.
Fantastic throw from Jenna Yodici. Brilliant stuff. Wizards get the Universe point victory. They were down 14-12.
3 on the bounce.
Excellent stuff by the Wizards. Magicking that one, like you say, a rabbit out of a hat. Brilliant stuff.
Iron Horse fought the way to the very end. They got a huge layout D to earn their first turn back, but they couldn't earn back the second, and you love the heart from Wizards to fight back. And for the second time this weekend, Wizards are winners on Universe point. running up 15-14 over Iron Horse in a really fiercely contested matchup. Thank you so much for watching what's been an exhilarating play, exhilarating game. I've been Benjamin Rees.
I've been Lorcan Murray.
And we will see you on the other side. Clapham Bad Skin is up next on this field. It's bracket time, everybody.
It's the quarterfinals.
Alti.tv